Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to start our math chapter on two-dimensional shapes. So we're going to be doing shapes for this week and next week, just two-dimensional shapes. And I want you to think of a two-dimensional shape as a shape that is flat, like you can only see one side of the shape. And we're going to talk about three-dimensional shapes next, and we'll learn what the difference is between those. So you should have this packet, this math packet says Chapter 11, Two-Dimensional Shapes. It says, let's discover shapes. What we're going to do today, the first pages we're going to do today are pages 623 through 628. So if you have that math packet and a pencil, you're ready to go. If not, go ahead and get that and we will begin. You can pause the video anytime you need to. Okay, excuse me. So the first shapes that we're going to do are squares and rectangles. Squares and rectangles. You're going to hear some terms over and over again. And I want you to look at these real quick, and we're going to go over what these terms are. So if you look, this is a square. A square has four sides that are all the same size. Now these are hand drawn, so they're not perfect, but you can tell that this shape here looks different from this shape here. So a square is a four-sided figure, and all of the sides are the same size. This, boys and girls, is a rectangle. A rectangle. A rectangle also has four sides, but two of those sides are short and two of those sides are long. So that's really the difference between those two, is the length, how long those sides are. So now you've heard some terms here that I want to make sure we're very clear with, because you're going to hear these over and over and over again. So if you look, Miss Brockman's going to mark these four areas right here. These are the sides of your shape. The sides of your shape, like this. Okay? The next are where those shapes come together in the corners or the points. These are what are called vertices. This is a vertex. All of these together are vertices. Okay, so you've got sides, you've got vertices, okay, and this, I'm going to color it all in like this. This is the face of the shape. This is the face of the shape. So on a two-dimensional shape, you can only see one face on that shape, okay? So let's look again at the difference between squares and rectangles, okay? I want you to remember, when you're dealing with a square, you have four sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, and if those were drawn perfectly, all those four sides would be the same size. They would be the same length all the way around like this. Okay? So they have four sides, four vertices, and again, it's two-dimensional, so it will have one face. One face. Those are squares, and I'm going to write that down for you. Squares. What are those long vowel words? Okay, next we're going to look at the rectangle. The rectangle has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. It also has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices, 4 points. Okay, but boys and girls, the difference is the rectangle has 2 long sides and 2 short sides. Okay, so what is this, boys and girls? This one right here, good job. It is a rectangle. It has 2 sides that are long and 2 sides that are short. So now we're going to just quickly go through and work with some of these squares and rectangles this week. So if you turn the page to page 624, you're going to see those terms that we've talked about. In box number 1, you have a square. You have a square. So this is asking you, how many sides does a square have? You can count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, or if you just remember from before, a square has 4 sides. Now, how many vertices or points does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Think of those as corners, or where those two lines meet. And a square also has 4 vertices. 4 vertices. Now in box 2, we're going to talk about that rectangle again. And again, let's look at how many sides the rectangle has. If you remember, just go ahead and trace it. Otherwise, you can count it. There are 4 sides. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Good job, boys and girls. Remember, we're going to be using those terms over and over again. Now, in row 3, we have a row of shapes, okay? Now, we're going to look at this first shape, and I want you to tell me, boys and girls, what shape is that? If you said a square, that's correct. How can we tell it's a square? It's got 4 sides that are all the same size. Now what we want to do is compare it to the other shapes in the row. I want you to find all the squares in the row and circle them. And then I want you to put an X on each rectangle. So let's do this one together. Boys and girls, is this a square or a rectangle? Ah, that's right, it's a rectangle. We're going to put a big X on that. And how did we know? Those 2 long sides right there, those sides are not the same size. What about this shape? Yep, it's a square. Let's go ahead and circle the square, starting at the top, circling all the way back around to the top of the square. What about this one, boys and girls? Yep, let's put an X on it. That's a rectangle. And what about this little one over here? It's a square. 4 sides, all the same size. So we're going to go ahead and circle that one. Now, in row 4, I want you to tell me what shape this one is. Remember, boys and girls, while it has 4 sides, 2 of those sides are short and 2 of those sides are long. So this is a rectangle. A rectangle. Good job. I want you to look at all these pictures and I want you to circle the objects that are the same shape as this one right here, as the rectangle. And if you find any that are not the same shape, let's go ahead and put an X on that one. So let's look. I would have circled the welcome mat. The welcome mat is a circle. I would have circled the computer screen. That looks like it has 2 longer sides. That microwave has 2 long sides and 2 short sides. What about this waffle? Oh my goodness, boys and girls, that waffle, not only is it a square, but look, it's made up of little tiny squares all in it. All of those squares have 4 sides that are all the same size. Let's put a big X on that waffle. Good job, boys and girls. Remember, if I'm going too fast, pause the video. Now, what I want you to do for the rest of this page, the rest of this packet, is you are going to go through and for 5, 6, and 7, you're going to tell me what shape this is. Then you're going to circle the matching shapes and put X's on the ones that don't match. Same thing in row 6 and 7. Pause the video while you complete that. When you're done, you can go ahead and turn the page and you'll be ready for me. Okay, boys and girls, we've got 2 plates here. Next to this plate, we've got some crackers. They look like little wheat crackers or maybe those yummy graham crackers. Okay, what shape are these crackers right here? Yep, those are rectangles. What I want you to do is I want you to draw some rectangle shaped food on this plate right here. Then you're going to come down to 9 and draw foods that are this shape. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to tell me what shape, and you're going to draw those foods right there on that plate. And you can do as many or as few as you want. Just put a couple on there on each shape. Good job. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do your homework. Now you might need to have some help with your parents reading you the instructions, but it's going to look very similar to what we've already been doing. So you're going to find the shapes, circle the ones that match. I still want you to go ahead and put an X on the ones that don't on both of those. And then on your last page, you're going to do the same thing with objects. Then I want you to draw an object that is a rectangle here below it and an object that is a square right there to that side. When you're finished, go ahead and turn that into your mom and dad, and we're gonna finish with our rectangles and squares today. And tomorrow we're gonna move on to circles and triangles, circles and triangles. All right, boys and girls, have a good day.